Hi, everyone. Welcome. Good morning, good afternoon. Um, we are actually, this is I would say an unofficial orientation to positive intelligent 7-week foundation program. It's something I started to offer as part of my coaching practice and I would say daily practice because I find it very effective in terms of shifting our mind, our positivity, shifting our boosting our positive mind or boosting our um, ability to self-command in a positive way, the present moment, basically. I have been a long time meditator for over 2 decades. Been teaching meditation and different forms of yoga, but I have to say that understanding the science of the different side of the brain and being part of the positive IQ coaching program, I realized that a lot of time the positive or the right side of the brain is being boosted early in the morning, and then as the day goes, it's kind of dwindling down, and other side of ourselves, or like the negative mind, as we call it in yogic terms, or the left side of the brain that is more kind of about cautious and danger and fear kicks in, and we start to operate from that side. So let's go a little bit about what is positive intelligent and what is this program actually provides. The next cycle of the program is starting this Saturday. You can still join. And I will go over what is the procedure to join. There's few more spots available. The next cycle of this program will be on August, so I recall August 17. Um, anyway, let's jump in. I'm just gonna load the slides. So we are in the business of mental fitness practice, of PQ coaching, positive IQ, 7-week foundation. What does it mean? So I a little bit about myself. I already told you a little bit about myself. Um, I just find this program really outstanding in terms of like shifting negativity into opportunity quickly. It takes about 7 to 8 weeks to boost that right side of the brain and to basically start to operate even in a challenging circumstances from a different point of perspective. So mental fitness, what is it about? It's about how to grow the three core mental muscle, basically to thrive in this challenging time. We are in challenging times. And I don't have to tell you that as a neurologist, we experience it every day and every week. So mental fitness, the practice, the definition of it is our capacity to respond to life's challenges with positive rather than negative mindset. The impact is peak performance, peace of mind or wellness. Taking care of our mental wellness is actually taking care of our physical wellness, because that's where discomfort starts. And it will shift and provide much better dynamic in their area of relationship and interaction with others. So what is it based on? So it's based on mental fitness program is based on original research by Shirzad Shamin. It's based on neuroscience, positive psychology, cognitive behavioral psychology, and performance science. Performance science, the science associated with peak performance of mainly athletes. So again, positive psychology, performance science, neuroscience, how we are wired and why it's important to boost that right side of the brain, and cognitive behavioral psychology. And that's what positive intelligence is based on, that form of practice. The research is based on hundreds of leaders, CEOs, and their executive teams. It was originated by Stanford, based on Stanford students, world-class athlete, peak performance, and about 500,000 participants from 50 countries. And many of YPO family and forms. And it's all summarized in a book called Positive Intelligence. And part of this program, you get access to the book, but that's not, the program itself is an experience that will shift your perception and the way you interact and view with the world around you. So the results of all these sources of research is there are only 3 core muscles at the root of mental fitness. There is a saboteur interceptor, intercepting our sabotaging forces or negative forces. There's a sage power, or the ability to actually see opportunity in any given situation. And the main thing is like the ability to start to train the mind to self-command, self-commanding the mind rather than reacting to our feelings, thoughts, emotions that are based on negative source. So there is, in this research, they found that there are 10 saboteurs, and there are 5 sage powers. The framing of sage power, the 5 powers that actually enhance that positive side of the brain. The saboteur, again, there's 3 core muscles: saboteur interceptor, sage power, and self-command. So in terms of saboteur, the main source of sabotaging is what we call the judge, or I would say that source or the voice that always criticizes and judge self, circumstances, and others. And then there is 9 accomplices with the judge. There is controller, hyperachiever, restless, stickler, pleaser, hypervigilant, avoider, victim, and hyper-rational. And these are like the accomplices of the main source of sabotaging: self-judgment, judgment of circumstances, and judgment of others. Now, you can do an assessment of these sabotaging sources, and below this video, I will post the link that you can access that self-saboteur assessment and see who is your main 3, 4 accomplices or saboteurs. Like, for instance, mine is hyperachiever, stickler. I like to do things perfectly, and I start to do them non-perfectly in a perfect way these days. And hyper vigilant, like worry in advance about certain things that are out of my control and getting into some unnecessary waste of energy or actions. Of course, any saboteur has a sage side. There's good qualities there on the other side that needs to drive these main traits that we are wired with. Now, for instance, this self-assessment will give you the characteristic of each saboteur and will provide you with some insights. How does it work? So, in terms of neuroscience, an event occur, there's a fork in the road. There is usually where it will go to the sabotaging side of the brain, or one of these accomplices is the perspective that this is danger, or I have to be afraid, or I have to be concerned, and when we do positive IQ repetitions or pause and choose, we have a choice and we can divert or boost that right side of the brain that looks at a given event as a gift or opportunity, or as a place to innovate or taking a different action. So again, this is like how we wire. The ratio between what we call a bad perspective or this is a gift is 3-1 in our wiring. So again, there's a choice between saboteur and a sage perspective, and our sense of fulfillment and happiness is also a choice as well when we know how to shift from that negative motivating power to a positive inclination. Let me just. So saboteurs might generate success, but not necessarily a joy of fulfillment in the process. There's a lot of successful people who are hyper vigilant, sticklers, and hyperachiever that will drag their teams or their families into high performance, but maybe alienate them or alienate themselves from enjoying the process or the journey. Where a sage perspective generates your highest success and enjoyment in the process and sustain a certain sense of fulfillment and happiness. So the question are, negative emotions, are they a good thing for us? Is pain good for us? So pain is good for us, so the sense of danger is good for us for about 1 second as an alert signal. But staying with this negative signal for a long time is basically self-sabotaging. It's the ability, it's clutter or murk the ability to actually be empathic to yourself and other, be curious, creative, or get into a inspiring action. Again, this program will strengthen these three core muscles: saboteur interception, intercepting quicker with our self-sabotaging forces, bring a sage perspective, and boost our ability to self-command and to interact with much more effectiveness, joy, while feeling well and at ease. So the sage perspective lives in the region of the brain associated with positive emotion, peace and calm, clear-headed focus, and creativity, seeing the big picture, and the operations. It operates from a place that takes us to the perspective that any challenge or any sometimes difficult circumstance can be shifted to an opportunity and a gift. Like every outcome or circumstance can be turned into a gift and opportunity. And our ability to actually recognize where the source of choice is coming from can be a life-changing. Again, the sage perspective is as such that everything can be turned into an opportunity. We don't have to control or to worry all the time to have the illusion that we can actually basically change the direction of the wind. Every outcome or circumstance can be turned into a gift and opportunity. There's three gifts in any circumstance: the gift of knowledge, knowing what or what not to do next time; the gift of power, learning from a situation and gaining more ability to handle harder situations or more challenges in the future; and the gift of inspiration, if something didn't work as we expected, we can actually innovate and navigate to a different place of being inspired to create something either totally different or shift a direction or create something that is so great that was not available to us unless we actually took the situation as an opportunity. Again, what knowledge have to be gained from what the payoff in the future may be much larger. Let's say you lost certain amount of money in a certain situation. So understanding that from our mistakes actually may provide the ability to actually create much more abundance in the future at much lower cost than what it is costing us at this point in time. The power is like, as I said, it's the ability to handle more or to handle a similar situation or situations in the future and create a growing ability to handle, instead of one person, a team of 5 or 10 people. It gives us 3, inspiration. It's basically taking action based on, let's say, we failed in a certain relationship with a client. So you understood that whatever is the failing, next time you will take action to actually address certain things with clients or with family members differently. So those relationships will become much more fulfilling and enjoyable. The question, which perspective is true? And the answer is whichever you believe becomes true. That's like a self-perpetuate prophecy. If we based our reality on a saboteur perspective, that what will be our experience, and vice versa. When we base our reality on a sage perspective, that everything can change and can turn into a gift and opportunity, life become a whole different journey and experience. So the program itself requires the 7-week programs to boost, to shift from to boost our mental fitness and the ability to operate more from a sage perspective. There has to be a practice that interferes through the day. So there has to be at least 15 minutes a day, a practice that will shift a saboteur perspective and rewire our ability to have a self-command and create a different experience in our interaction with others, in our wishes and dreams, and in our ability to handle sometimes challenging circumstances. Again, these 6 to 8 weeks will boost the 3 muscles: a saboteur interceptor, it will boost your sage perspective, and the ability to self-command and to make far more quicker and powerful choice in your life. Even a 10-second positive IQ rap can shift that. Even in the middle of a meeting, doing something tactile and focusing the negative emotion into being present in your body, some people will call it a somatic awareness, will shift that wiring, automatic wiring. So you can shift to a sage response, but the speed and the ability to respond quicker depend on boosting that mental fitness strength to actually have the ability to not to actually stay in a saboteur mode for too long, reducing the amount of time in staying in saboteur mode and shifting to a through mental fitness, shifting to a sage perspective quicker and actually transforming the circumstances or the situation itself. So it takes the lasting positive change require 80% mental fitness. It's like it takes an insight, the ability to see that you can actually shift or hold a situation differently, but it takes really 80% of mental muscle to have the ability to shift your insight. and basically to shift the circumstances. The ratio is 20 to 80%. Practice makes things perfect. It shifts our habits, muscle memory, brain ability to actually divert that I would say the junction to a positive experience and to an opportunity. Again, it's 15 minutes a day. The positive intelligence program, it's a 6 weeks duration. I offer it a 7 week. We're starting a week before. Also, we ending with a one-on-one coaching session in the end. It's I will be your positive IQ coach. It's positive intelligence. The tuition is discounted. Regular tuition is $1,150. I offer it this time at $874, including the PQ program weekly video with daily app guided practices, a weekly coaching session in a group setting to support your growth and your ability to shift to boost basically the three muscles of saboteur interceptor, sage perspective, and the ability to boost our self-command. There's going to be a weekly focus, a module, like starting with what positive IQ is, for instance, focusing on the judge, because we all have some form of a judge and how to intercept it, and going to some accomplished saboteur sage perspective, how to implement positive IQ, basically learning the vocabulary and the practices to actually be able to intercept a self-sabotaging condition and to shift it to a sage perspective. There's going to be a daily focus and practices that requires 15 minutes a day to intercept your saboteurs and build your self-command and sage perspective. The deadline to register is this Friday. However, as I said before, there's going to be another cycle of new 7-week foundation program on starting August 17. But if you want to join now, the first module will be available starting Saturday, July 15. First 30 minutes coaching session scheduled for Monday, July 17, 12:30 p.m. Pacific Daytime. You can use this link to register. I'll put it in the bottom notes of the video as well. And also, if you have any questions or need to talk to me directly, you can schedule a 20 minutes free coaching, simple, 30 minutes actually, coaching simple. And I'll put the link to my calendar in the notes below as well. Thank you for listening. Thank you for considering this. I hope to be of assistance and help and inspire you to take some action that will provide your prosperity, your well-being, and your relationship. Hari Om. Thank you.